Thank you for joining us in another episode of the Vegan Pulse. Today, another segment of Making Sense with Gabriel. Stick around and Gabriel Gaarden will join us. Hi, Gabriel. Nice to see you again.
Great to see you, Nancy. Happy to be here.
My question for you from one of our viewers is, how many servings of fruit and vegetables should we get in a day?
Great question. Wonderful question. We know, whether we're vegan or not, that fruits and veggies are beneficial for our health. Great thing about being a vegan is we eliminate getting calories, just getting nutrients and getting calories from foods that are from animal-based sources, right? Foods that come from animals or their byproducts. And so we're completely eliminating this whole chunk of foods that basically gets in the way of us getting enough fruits and vegetables every day, right? I can't believe what a pleasure it was for me and how much better it made me feel, obviously physically, but also on an emotional, psychological, and kind of that broader, social level, knowing that I was going to have such an easier time getting more healthy food into my diet, because I was eliminating just getting all the food from the stuff that doesn't have fiber in it, that doesn't have all the phytonutrients in it, right? Phyto means plant, nutrient. So phytonutrients are all these wonderful chemicals and nutrients that we get from plant-based foods that only come from plant-based foods because they're phytonutrients. You can't get them in beef. You can't get them in dairy. You can't get them in eggs. And we know that these phytonutrients are so beneficial for our overall health, and they protect us against things like cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, right? All these different problems that are so common in our society today, all these chronic diseases. And so it's great eliminating this whole group of foods that basically just gets in the way of us getting our fruits and veggies every day. That's not to say you can't still eat plenty of fruits and veggies on an omnivorous diet. We would always encourage everybody to eat more fruit and veg, but it's easier on a vegan diet. Assuming that we're not just replacing our omnivorous animal-based foods with junk foods, whether it's a candy bar like an Oreo cookie, which is vegan, right? But it's not going to have a lot of phytonutrients in it because it's highly fractionated, ultra processed plant-based foods, where we basically lose all the fiber. We lose all the phytochemicals, right? We lose basically all the vitamins and minerals. And we just end up with, basically sugar that comes from sugar cane or sugar beets and other, plant-based, highly fractionated products that come from plants, but aren't really plants, right? Because they've been so highly processed. So we don't want to replace these foods with junky vegan foods, and even the plant-based meats, which are healthier than animal-based meats, but they're not as good as eating whole plant-based foods like beans, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, herbs, and spices. And also your mushrooms, which are a separate category, fungus, all incredibly healthy, and we should be incorporating them as much as possible. In terms of how many, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I always invite mushrooms because they're fungi.
That's right. We
want
to invite the fungi to the party, right?
Sorry for my corny joke. Go ahead.
That's fine. It's a good one. And so in terms of servings, this is all going to come down to your size, your age, your sex, right? Because every person's nutrient needs are going to be a little bit different. That being said, there's a wonderful tool that you can download for iOS or for Android. It's called the Daily Dozen. It was put together by Michael Greger. He's a doctor who started this great website that most vegans probably know about. If they don't, check it out. But anybody can use it, right? You don't have to be a vegan to use this, to benefit from it, because it's an evidence-based nutrition resource that is guaranteed to improve your health if you follow the recommendations and the evidence-based resources on that website. So go to nutritionfacts.org or just go to the Google Play Store or the iOS App Store, and you can download the Daily Dozen app. And that has some great recommendations for the number of servings of dark leafy greens, of other vegetables, whether it's carrots, things like mushrooms, which we often clump in with vegetables, even though fungus is a separate category. So, your dark leafy greens, your nuts and seeds, which of course are separate from fruits and vegetables, but they're also beneficial whole plant foods that we should be incorporating on a daily or a regular basis. And so it goes through everything, right? Your beans, your whole grains, your fruits and vegetables, your nuts and seeds, your herbs and spices, as well as your beverages, and your exercise. So all of these things are included in the daily dozen. And it gives you a recommended serving size for each of those things. And then it gives you the recommended number of servings that Dr. Greger recommends we ideally try to fit into our diets on a daily routine. Now, it's going to be easier for some people to reach those daily dozen and the minimum number of servings that he recommends for each of those food groups, because some people are already eating a very whole food, plant-based centric vegan diet, right? Where they're already basically getting most of their calories from all these whole plant foods. Other people, whether they're omnivores, whether they're vegetarians, or whether they're vegans that may be eating more processed foods, it will be harder for them maybe initially to get all those servings in because, you know, it is some effort or some work, or it just requires some of a transition for some people. But that being said, life isn't about perfection, right? And life isn't about all or nothing. If you're not able to get your 2 servings of dark leafy greens, like Dr. Greger recommends every day, so what? Just throw a little bit of greens in your smoothie, right? Or just eat a salad, maybe if it's not every day, as often as works for you and your budget and your motivation levels and your overall lifestyle, right? And then we're all works in progress. So over time, you can slowly start ramping things up. And if you get to the point where you're able to meet those daily dozen on a daily or at least a pretty regular basis, I can guarantee you that you're going to feel some tremendous positive health effects when it comes to your energy levels, when it comes to your quality of sleep, when it comes to your general health and fitness, because you'll start to lose weight, you'll start to lose some of that excess body fat that most people have. And a lighter body is a body that moves with ease. And so you're going to have you're going to find ease in doing your daily tasks like cleaning the house or cooking or taking care of your kids. And then you're going to find more pleasure in doing other things like taking walks, running, bicycling, hiking, all these other wonderful outdoor activities that bring a lot of pleasure and a lot of meaning to our lives. And so the better we eat, the better advantage that we can take of all the wonderful things that life has to offer, right? All the cool, all the fun, all the wonderful activities that there are, the better we feel, the more we can enjoy all that great stuff. And so that's a great motivator for me to really take care of my diet and take care of what I'm putting in my mouth on a daily basis to try to get those daily dozen, because I know that when I achieve that, the better I feel. I used to always say, I used to be addicted to food, right? Food had a kind of a powerful control over me. But when I found whole food plant-based nutrition, I learned that food didn't have to control me, that I could eat to live rather than live to eat, like Dr. Joel Fuhrman says, another wonderful doctor that's a leader in the plant-based movement. And so I was eating to live instead. Eating to live. And I went from being feeling addicted to food to being addicted to feeling good. And so now I feel good in my body on a daily basis, and I'm able to take advantage of all the wonderful things that I love doing, whether it's just cleaning the house, which is a daily chore, but when the house is clean, we feel better about ourselves and we can be more productive. And then, of course, outside of that, the more fun things, right? Running, hiking, climbing, doing the things that I really enjoy that bring me a lot of pleasure in life. And the better I feel, then those things all become easy. It's not a chore to get up and take a walk with my dogs. It's just something I do because it's good for them, it's good for me, and I have all the energy to do it. So I hope that gives people some great tips, and thanks for having me on, Nancy.
Thank you. Just one thing before I go, you said you used to eat to the food was
I used to be
controlling you.
addicted to food. Yeah.
Be addicted to food. For myself, I really never cared that much for food. I just ate it to survive, and I really didn't enjoy it. But since I went vegan, I now love food. I mean, I love to have my vegetables, my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, because now it's all different food. I wasn't so particular with the animal-based foods, but with the whole food, plant-based, I love it. The Brussels, the asparagus, the parsnips, the beets, everything.
Right. There's such tremendous variety. And so many people find that they fear that they're not going to love the foods on a plant-based diet because they fear that they're going to miss out on all the things that they had before on their omnivorous diet. But everybody over and over and over again, right, If somebody does this for long enough and they do it with an open heart and an open mind, they find that when they go plant-based, it just opens up this brand new world that's wide open with all these new flavors, all this new variety. And so, yes, I too, even though I now eat to live, and I'm not addicted to the food that I eat anymore, I still enjoy my food with tremendous fervor, right? I love eating. I love all the plant-based food out there. I just do it. I just have a healthier relationship now with the food that I eat.
Thank you, Gabriel. Until next time, see ya.
Take care.
Thank you for joining us in another episode of The Vegan Pulse. I am your host, Nancy Arenas. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and remember, if you have a pulse, you have a purpose. Live vegan.